You know, there's nothing quite like that jolt of stress a homeowner feels when something goes wrong with the roof. I mean, it's your home's first line of defense, right? And when it fails, everything underneath it suddenly feels, well, vulnerable. But don't worry, we've got you. In this explainer, we're going to give you a clear, practical playbook for finding the perfect professional to protect your biggest investment. So let's get right into it. Okay, so you've spotted the signs, right? Maybe it's that dark stain on the ceiling that just appeared, or you found a few shingles in your yard after a big storm. Immediately, that question hits you. Who do I even call for this? Who's the right person to fix this and fix it for good? Well, the answer is probably a bit more specific than you think. All right, let's start with the absolute basics here. You don't just need a handyman, you need a specialist. In the industry, they're called a roofing contractor. And honestly, a great way to think of them is as your roof's first responder, the expert who's trained specifically for this one super critical job. Now look at this definition. The key word here, the one I really want you to focus on, is specializes. See, a roofing contractor isn't just a general builder. Their whole world, their entire focus is on one thing and one thing only, making sure the roof over your head is safe, durable, and can stand up to whatever the weather throws at it. It's a really specific skill set, and it's all about keeping your home protected. So, you might be thinking, why can't I just call a good handyman? And that's a fair question. A general handyman is awesome for a ton of different tasks around the house. But a roof? A roof is a whole different beast. It has its own unique challenges. A specialized contractor? They've got the specific training, the right licenses, and, most importantly, years of experience with all the different roofing materials and complex building codes. Think of it this way. For a checkup, you see your family doctor, but for heart surgery, you want the cardiac surgeon, right? It's the exact same principle here. For a critical job, you absolutely need the specialist. Okay, so now that we're all on the same page about who to look for, let's get into the how. This is your action plan, your step-by-step guide to finding and vetting the perfect pro for your project. And here it is, a simple 5-step process that really takes all the guesswork out of it. First up, you're going to do your homework, some basic research. Then you'll verify their credentials, which is super important. After that, you'll want to get multiple quotes because you want to make sure you're getting a fair price. And then come the 2 most critical steps. Asking all the right questions. And don't worry, we'll cover exactly what those are. And then finally, reviewing every single word of that contract before you even think about signing. All right, these are the questions that are going to put you in the driver's seat. You've got to ask, how long have you been in business? That tells you if they're stable or just a fly-by-night operation. Next, what kind of warranty do you offer? This is huge for your long-term protection. Do you use subcontractors? You want to know exactly who is going to be working on your home. And this last one is a non-negotiable, folks. Can you provide proof of your license and insurance? If they hesitate or can't, that's your cue to end the conversation right there. Okay, so knowing what to look for in a good contractor, that's half the battle. The other half, and this is just as important, is knowing what to avoid. The unfortunate truth is the roofing industry can attract some, let's say, less than honest people. So being able to spot the red flags is absolutely essential to protect yourself and your wallet. And one of the biggest things to watch out for is a group people call storm chasers. You know who I'm talking about. A big hailstorm rolls through and the next day your doorbell is ringing off the hook. These are contractors who sweep into a disaster area going door to door. Now, while some might be legit, a whole lot of them aren't licensed to work in your area. They'll do a quick, shoddy job and then poof, they disappear as fast as they showed up. You're left with a bad roof, no warranty, and no one to call. So this chart right here, this is basically your cheat sheet for spotting trouble. Let's look at the difference. A reputable contractor, a real pro, they're going to have a local physical address you can drive by. A potential scammer, they've got a P.O. box and an unmarked truck. A pro gives you a detailed written contract to review. A scammer uses high-pressure, sign right now or the deal is gone tactics. And here's maybe the biggest red flag of all. They demand full payment upfront. No way. A professional will always have a clear payment schedule that's tied to the work actually getting done. And you know what? This might just be the most important piece of advice in this entire explainer. After all the research, after asking all the right questions, you've still got to trust your gut. Your instincts are there for a reason. If a contractor just makes you feel uneasy, or if their deal seems way too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Please, don't ever be afraid to just say no thanks and walk away. All right, let's get back to the positive stuff. You've done your due diligence, you've chosen your contractor, and you feel great about it. So, what happens now? What does the project actually look like? Let's pull back the curtain and demystify the whole process so you know exactly what to expect from start to finish. A good project journey should be totally transparent and just make sense. It all kicks off with that first call and their on-site inspection and estimate. Once you're comfortable and you sign the contract, the real work begins. Then, after the job is finished and the crew has cleaned everything up, there's one last super important step, the final walkthrough. This is your moment. You get to walk the property with the contractor and inspect every little detail to make sure you're 100% happy with the work. All right, let's talk about the bottom line. This is the part everybody's waiting for, right? The cost. And just as importantly, let's wrap this all up with the key takeaways, the real reasons why investing in a true professional is always the right move. So as you can see from this chart, the costs can be all over the map. I mean, a minor repair might just be a few $100, but a major repair can get into the thousands, and a full replacement, well, that's a significant investment, often starting somewhere in the $7,000 to $15,000 range, or even higher. Now remember, these are just ballpark averages to give you an idea. Your specific situation will be different, which is exactly why getting those multiple local quotes is so important. So after all this, you might be asking, why go through all this trouble? Why does vetting a pro matter so much? Well, it boils down to 4 huge things. First, safety. These guys have the right gear and training to work on a roof without getting hurt or damaging your home. Second, quality. They know the materials, they know the building codes, and they do work that's built to last. Third, you get a real warranty that actually protects your investment. And finally, and this one's a big one, you actually save money in the long run. A job done right the first time means you're not paying for a do-over in a few years. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Your roof, it's literally the most important shield your home has. It protects you, your family, and everything you own from the elements. The question is that shield in the right hands? Well, now you have the playbook to make sure it is.